Is Miss Minutes the true villain of Loki? Folks, it's about time, both the Loki series itself and the fact that we need to talk about the timekeeping elephant in the room, Miss Minutes.
Hi there!
Ever since episode 1 of the hit Marvel Disney Plus series, Miss Minutes, the Time Variant Authority's anthropomorphic mascot voiced by the one and only Tara Strong, has been a fan favorite. Between introducing Loki to the TVA's purpose and narrowly avoiding getting swatted by the God of Mischief in episode 2, Miss Minutes has mostly been a delightful comic relief character and a welcome throwback to the mid-century aesthetics that permeate Loki's production design. However, some eagle-eyed fans clocked that Miss Minutes might have a much bigger, far darker secret. According to a popular theory, the true villain of the Time Variance Authority isn't Kang the Conqueror, a rogue Loki variant, or even two Mephistos standing on each other's shoulders in a TVA-issued trench coat. Rather, it's Miss Minutes herself.
Who actually believes this bunkum?
And while the notion that this cartoon mascot inspired by Mr. DNA from Jurassic Park is actually a villainous mastermind might seem laughable at first, once you look at the evidence, you might be starting to rethink everything you thought you knew about the Loki series. Now, obviously, in order to talk about this theory, we do need to spoil what happens in the first 4 episodes of Loki. So if you're not up to date or you're worried about that sort of thing, take this chance to leave and catch up before you get pruned from the comment section after embarrassing yourself while sitting through this overly long warning. All right, let's get into it, shall we? As we have learned time and time again on Loki, nothing is as it seems. It's a show about secrets, lies, identity, and a little thing called the multiverse. The Time Variance Authority and its single-minded goal of maintaining the linear flow of time by preserving the so-called sacred timeline, it sounds like a noble, albeit sinister sci-fi goal. It also sounds exactly like something that a clock would come up with, given their sole purpose in life. Now, we don't know if Miss Minutes is alive or dead.
Sort of both.
That's because she's neither in the traditional sense. She's a sentient artificial intelligence who runs the time procedures and why every new variant brought in for processing must comply or be pruned out of existence. The first step of that process...
Hang on just a minute.
The second step, you have to attest to everything you've ever said ever, kind of like a human CAPTCHA test.
What?
And the third step, you go through a scanner to determine whether or not you're actually an android, an AI, or some other kind of secret robot.
What if I was a robot and I didn't know it?
And while we initially wrote this off as a scary yet silly joke to establish this protects Miss Minutes and her systems from being hacked, invaded, and otherwise impeded by another technologically advanced life form like an android or an AI. Adding further fuel to this fire is that, as many Loki viewers have pointed out, there's a bit of a Wizard of Oz parallel at play here with the mysterious, all-powerful Timekeeper standing in for the Wizard. And as we learned in episode 4, the Nexus event, the Timekeepers aren't space lizards at all. Rather, they are elaborate animatronics. They're the bastard children of Ultron and Charles Entertainment Cheese. So who could feasibly maintain and operate such advanced machinery while still keeping the rest of the TVA running so smoothly? How about a highly advanced machine that loves nothing more than to constantly espouse the core mission and values of the TVA, of Earthlings in the present to have developed? Consider just how long it took Tony Stark to crack the code of time travel in Avengers Endgame. Little did he know, there's an entire force of time cops out there just waiting in the wings in case they veered too radically from the sacred timeline, equipped with truncheons that can rip you. At least that's what we're led to believe that they're capable of, because as we saw during episode 4's post-credit scene, Loki was pruned before our very eyes, only to wind up in front of the ruins of Avengers Tower, staring up at 4 Loki variants. Now, whether the TVA's technology really is capable of destroying matter from existence or simply transporting it to a nightmarish garbage realm, that isn't what's important. Rather, it's that it feels far too advanced for mere mortals in the present to have developed. So that means it's either the creation of Miss Minutes, the original Timekeepers if they really did exist, upcoming appearance in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Kang Watch. And while I'm not saying Kang has conquered the TVA in this video, I would put forth that perhaps he could have designed Miss Minutes in the 30th century from which Nathaniel Richards hails, and she could have since gone rogue as AI seems wont to do in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I mean, remember Sam's words from The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Miss Minutes is part of the Big Three.
Androids, aliens, and wizards.
Since the TVA isn't using magic, androids. And who's the only viable candidate to be the mechanical mastermind behind these Machiavellian machinations? Miss Minutes. After all, as Miss Minutes actress Tara Strong teased to The Hollywood Reporter, there's much more to be revealed, and it's fun to watch that unfold. Now, obviously, Miss Minutes can't do all of this alone. She's working in tandem with people like Ravonna Renslayer to maintain the status quo through a climate of fear and constant propaganda that fills the TVA's hallowed halls and everything they say to each other, for all time, always. It's supplying variants galore with which to staff the TVA's ranks, and after all, we humans are awfully easy to manipulate, which may be why Miss Minutes is also so hellbent on removing all of those pesky Lokis from the timeline in the process, because no one manipulates quite like a Loki does.
You see, half the fun of being a trickster is knowing everyone knows you're a trickster, and then many of your tricks can come from exploiting the fact that you know that they know.
Things are escalating faster than a god of mischief that's been falling for 30 minutes straight. In the meantime, though, tell us, who do you think the real villain of Loki is? Do you believe this theory or not?
Sort of both.
Anyway, let us know in the comments below, and for the latest and greatest in the world of pop culture, stay tuned to Nerdist.com.